Hey friends, it's Ruben with HIFIMIDI. I'm glad to be back after a huge break. I'm pretty excited these days because I moved my studio recently and I left my job teaching at a public school and I'm finally working for myself. And there's a lot of projects that I'm going to be working on. Some of them include posting more videos. So I know I promise that all the time, but it was really hard doing it, going to school full time and teaching music full time and being a father and husband. So I'm going to get more stuff out now. My friend at Acoustic Samples recently contacted me asking if I could review this new plugin called Sunbird, which is an acoustic guitar. And I said yes. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to be very honest with this review. I'm going to talk about things that I love about it, things that I don't like, just like I do in every video. So, before I continue talking your ears off, I'm going to play a little bit for you. This is in solo mode. And here it goes. This is a very unique sound in acoustic. It's very harmonically rich. It sounds, I'm trying to find the word for it. I don't want to say dirty, but it sounds very raw, organic, and not as sterile or too clean like the other guitars I've reviewed. I really like it. It's almost very folksy. Now, I should have asked this, but I don't know what guitar it's modeled after, but it sounds beautiful. Now, before you play this, if you ever purchase this, I recommend going to the palm mute setting, right-clicking, and pressing clear because it's automatically set to the sustain pedal, which I don't like because I use a sustain pedal when I play, so it's always toggling it from palm mute and open. But let's hear palm mute anyway. So palm mute is going to be toggled on by playing the F0 string. That sounds very nice. It still maintains that dirty sound that I like. That I think the sound that I'm looking for is gritty. Then we have our harmonic. This sample sounds really in your face. Now, I think one of the reasons for that is because I have all of the microphones on. It has a pickup mic, 2 pencil mics, which I assume are Neumann KM184s, which for the overheads, and then a close mic, which looks like a U87. So this is how it sounds when you turn it on. And then with them back on. Now you can toggle through mono and stereo. I'll put it back to stereo. In the preferences section, you have your release volume. So when you let go of the string, it makes that little release sound. Or you can turn it off. And then the fret noise, which is actually a string slide. Everybody calls it fret noise for some reason. Even me. I don't know what pre-note's volume is, but I assume it has something to do with chord mode. I'm not sure. Then we have our dynamics and curve velocity curve. Dynamics limits the different levels of dynamics. I feel silly saying that. Dynamics limits whether it's limits it to either completely loud. So even if I play softly, it's going to access that mezzo, forte, or forte. But if I go to 100%, if I play soft, it gives me that piano. Or that soft velocity. Then we have our room control and reverb. We have our EQ. The funny thing is that even with the EQ on this, this guitar really cuts through the mix. And I know that's such an overused phrase, and I'm actually not using it in a good way. You'll see in another video when I compare 4 other guitars to it in strum mode, I had to cut out so many frequencies because of the timbre of this guitar that it just kept cutting through. And it was pretty frustrating. By itself, however, or in certain settings, it sounds amazing because of its body. Here, let me take some of that reverb off. All right, another cool thing is that you have your pick and finger mode, pick and finger picking mode, which just gives it a different tone. I'm gonna roll off some of that bass. So we have different articulation modes here, which can be accessed by these yellow keys right here. However, they don't latch on. I'm not sure if that could be changed or not. So here's slide. As soon as you let go of it, it goes back to hammer mode. Now, I haven't heard any real difference with legato. But you can control the legato distance, which is default. I think it's set at 3. In string selection mode, I actually like it better in manual. But it automatically selects the strings for you depending on which chords you play. And then we have chord mode. What is this? Okay. So the default mode is guitar. The default chord mode is guitar. And you'll notice that when you play a chord with your left hand, you don't hear anything except for the sound of your fingers pressing on the strings or the virtual strings, which I think is very cool. Now, when you do play a chord, you'll see this chord bank opens up the natural fingering for that chord. So this is G major, G suspended fourth. Now, how do you actually play it? So these red keys right here are the strummings. You actually have to hold down the chord with your left hand and then strum with your right, just like a real guitar, if you're a right-handed guitarist. Now, it takes a little getting used to, and I've been playing Ample Sounds guitars, so I'm used to the responsiveness of that. This is different. Now, if you want that muted sound, all you have to do is just let go of the chord, or you can play C sharp and D sharp. The thing I like about this is that when you're transitioning from one chord to the other, you get that transition that would happen in real life rather than getting that artificial instant chord that a lot of guitar plugins create. Let me see what these are. I actually haven't checked. Oh. So let's say I want to play a string, a chord. If I play F sharp, it slides up to it. Here's a mute. And then the strings slide down right here. So these sound like they're the effects. And then palm mute. And then over here, these green keys right here just toggle different modes, play modes. Now in the chord mode we have guitar, and then we have piano, which lets you hear the chord when you play it with your left hand. It's still in palm mute. You can control your strum speed, your accent. Mixed mode lets you play a chord and a melody at the same time. Very inspiring. Then we have a capo mode, which is Just like putting a capo on a real guitar, if you've ever played a real guitar before. Now let's go to pattern mode. This is supposed to be a very advanced pattern building engine. It has its own presets right here. So let's take a listen. Now, in my opinion, that sounds phenomenal. It's very aggressive. Again, I say gritty. It's a very aggressive sound. Now let's listen to some other ones. So it allows you to use a full octave for what I presume is 12 notes of presets. Not sure if it does any more than that. So you have your patterns right here that you can access and assign to a specific key. Or for more custom strum patterns, you can go into the pattern builder and create your own. And it's actually pretty simple. So right here we have strum direction, which you can change with a click. This is representing, I think this is representing either one measure or two measures, but you can change that right here. 32. You can change the strum speed, shuffle, humanize. If you want to create a strum at the beginning of a beat, you have to make sure this is on. This links all the strings on this particular beat. Then you click on the string. Let's hear it. Oops. You know, I think I may have already done one. Okay. Let's hear this. Now, say I wanted to play only certain strings, I would have to unlink them and then drag down the velocity. Didn't mean to do that. Let's hear that. Now, I believe I could actually have that latch on. There you go. I think if I want to set the pattern to a specific key right here, I have to select it up here in the editor window. So like, for example, F, and open it. And then I add to patterns. Let's name it strum. All right, click out of there. And then here it is. not sure if that's the one that I made. Let's see. Strum, 4 beats. There you go. And that is the best sounding strum I've ever made. Now, this is not my greatest performance. I'm pretty new to this setup. I'm used to ample sounds, but I just wanted to show that it's not actually too difficult to create a strumming pattern, but you just have to spend some time with it. Let's see how it sounds with these mutes. I guess it doesn't matter if you play an actual chord because it's going to mute the sound. Let's see what a stop is. Okay, so all it does is it does not sustain it. So you can get a lot more different. You could get different types of patterns like that. So I am not done reviewing this plugin. You're gonna see it in the future when I compare it to my other sample libraries, as far as its how it sounds when it strums. Now, it has a great sound. Don't get me wrong, but I think this plugin is really meant for acoustic type music and not so much in certain band settings where it's just going to be filling in. This instrument stands out a lot. It has a lot of great features that give you a variety of playing styles and sounds, but it also has its limitations. Friends, thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and feel free to share this, comment below, and thanks for watching.